I love to draw at fashion shows because it's a challenge I set up for myself of how quickly can I capture that image and what I think that designer is saying. I met Cheryl, it's only been about a year through, we have a mutual friend, Sam Gordon. He was working with Cheryl on a show of her pieces with Print All Over Me last spring at NADA. So what I look for with Cheryl is when we did the collaboration with NADA, it was great because the models stood for a second so I could really get kind of the more nuances of pattern and color and just kind of a hit of those accessories and a little bit of the personality of the models also. I mean, these are really, Cheryl was brilliant at casting. So it's kind of, it's a scan of all that information, and then I like to challenge myself to get it down on paper as quickly as possible. Like when Cheryl showed me what she was doing for this collection and what she was working on with Print All Over Me, there were so many different levels of what was happening because it was this kind of riff on tracksuits, but the tracksuits are really kind of riffs on color blocks. And so it was an idea of kind of taking that apart and printing them on something else. And then for me, kind of going even further, there's always this thing of trompe l'oeil, making something appear to be something that it's not. There all of a sudden, like within about 3 seconds, there are all these different layers of kind of thought and history and process all kind of coming together in one jacket. She's smart as an artist, and she has an incredible eye also as a design person. I mean, I look at what she does, and then I usually go to Europe twice a year to go to the men's shows, and it's like, this is what's happening, and she's just kind of doing it. Like her timing and her instinct is so kind of on point. It's a really interesting thing of what's happening with art and fashion. I mean, I think there's always kind of this conversation of, how they play off each other. There are certain periods where they're really connected and then less connected. I think right now everything is very connected because of social media. So yeah, and working with Cheryl, it's just kind of a million ideas happening at once about art and fashion and design and presentation and producing and eBay and the value of clothing and kind of what it represents and what people say about themselves. So it's just, there's so many different things happening. So for me to draw, and one thing I love to do is draw at a show because it's very fast and it's very kind of catching that moment. And so it's just kind of another moment that's layered on to all the other conversations we're having, which is fantastic.